They done just declared war on nurses, women, black women, education, and we got to talk about it.
So did you guys see all of the female-dominated professions that will no longer be considered professional starting in 2026 summertime? And yes, there is a list. So if you went to school to be a nurse practitioner or an advanced nurse practitioner or a physical therapist or a teacher, which is a really big one, there's a lot of other ones that are on the list that are very much so female-dominated spaces. They are saying that you are no longer a professional anymore. Your degree means nothing. All the people who have gone to school for these things and worked their butt off for 4 years or 6 years, it doesn't even matter anymore because they are changing the whole system. And this is just the start of Project 2025. I do find it weird that they're only choosing the ones that women dominate. I find that really strange because it seems like to me, they are trying to take a lot of steps backward. If you are a woman and you have gone to school for this or are going to school for this, I would definitely look into this and probably raise hell. This is not okay. But you know what's weird? They have taught us what to do and how to do it and to trust in the system for so long. And then when you actually grow up and you do it, they flip the whole system. That's just what they do. They're evil people.
To the U.S. Department of Education, I just want to know, what kind of crap are y'all on? Are y'all on the pink cocaine? What are y'all on? So being a nurse is not considered a professional job anymore? So if being a nurse is not considered a professional job anymore, what's considered a professional job? Being a stripper? Being a TikToker? Like, what is considered a professional job? So the U.S. Department of Education just came out with a list of these jobs, and they're saying that they're not professional jobs anymore. What the hell does that even mean? On the list, I saw teachers. How's being a teacher not? What is going on? I feel like we live in the upside down world. What? Being a teacher is not a professional job. Being a nurse is not a professional job. Working in public health is not a professional job. Going to school and getting these degrees. Some people have advanced degrees in this field. You're telling me that is not considered a professional job anymore? Nurses, how do y'all feel? Being a nurse? Do you know how many nurses I know? Can somebody help me to understand what the fuck is going on? Because what does it mean that these jobs are not considered professional jobs anymore? Help me to understand, because I do not understand.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My good name is Gracie D. I hope you all are doing amazing. Thank you so much for clicking on this episode. I really do appreciate your love and support on this channel. So I'm sure that most of you Americans remember something called Project 2025. And why are we talking about Project 2025? So the United States Department of Education and the government is now trying to reclassify degrees like nursing, social work, public health, PT, OT, even speech language pathology as non-professional degrees. Like you all had that right, degrees that people use to literally save lives. And this actually ties direct into the new administration and the Project 2025 blueprint. And I want us to talk about it. So what's happening is that the Department of Education is proposing a new definition for professional degrees, and people who are affected, nursing is gone, social work is gone, speech therapy is gone, physical therapy is gone, and healthcare, education, counseling, all downgraded under this new administration. You have to understand that this change means students in this field won't be allowed to borrow the same amount of federal student loans anymore. I want us to watch some of these few clips that I've gathered for you guys. Every clip and every stitch that you'll be seeing on this episode, credits belongs to the original creators on these videos that you're seeing on your screens. So let's just dive right ahead and we'll be back with more commentary.
A degree in nursing will no longer be considered a professional degree, but a graduate degree from the perspective of the federal government. Now, this is going to affect not only nursing, but other degrees. And what it's going to cause primarily is that you can only borrow $20,000 per year, and then there's a capped amount, whereas a professional degree, like somebody like a doctor, can borrow up to $50,000 a year. Now, what the government is saying is that this will force the prices of these nursing schools to come down to sort of meet what the federal government is giving out. But of course, you and I, we know that never really happens. Now, to me, when I saw it, it clearly looks like something that fits into the agenda of this current administration and what they're trying to do. They said that they were going to gut the Department of Education, and this has meant moving a lot of those different aspects of the Department of Education into other departments as they gut the Department of Education. But kind of, just to give you an analogy, it's kind of like Uno stacking. They don't do anything unless it's going to cause the maximum hurt, the maximum harm, the maximum pain. And so the first thing that this is going to do is it's going to demoralize a lot of people. So if you've gone to school for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years in attaining those degrees and becoming a professional, even though this classification doesn't mean that you're not a professional, just saying the word has an effect. When they say that you are no longer considered a professional from the standard of the federal government, just saying that has an effect. And so for all of you women out there who are not what they would call minorities, now you know how it feels to be called a minority, because a minority is really somebody who is under the age of 18, and they have put you in the position of a child by using a classification. Now, this is what these people do. They do all kinds of divide and conquer tactics. And so while it's not a hot war, it is a war of words. And once those programmed words get into your mind, they definitely have an effect.
Okay, so let's just pretend that most of these fields are not female dominated. Let's just pretend that most of these fields don't have a bunch of people of color in them. Let's just pretend that these professional fields don't impact people of color, people in rural communities, underserved communities, all of that. Let's just act like that. We don't know that. What's crazy is that the Department of Education doesn't see education as an important professional field. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology and women's and gender studies, but my master's degree is in counseling. And even though I spent years on social media seeing a bunch of, gurus and stuff say how, therapy is not needed, or you don't need therapy, or, therapy doesn't help anybody, like I see me every single day, tons and tons and tons of people who their lives would be completely destroyed without therapy. And every other therapist you may know of, like they see the same things that I do. Like, forget all this social media shit. Like, we see the stuff in real time. And another thing, most of these professions are mandated reporters. If you don't know what that is, these are basically people who, if we get told about, or we see, or we think that there is, abuse or neglect going on, like with children, with elders, or with, people who have special needs, things like that, like we are legally obligated to report it so that something can be done about it. Mighty funny that they want to declassify these professional fields, because a lot of people won't go into fields like this because the money is not going to be there, if it isn't considered a professional degree. So their hope is that over time, there's going to be less people available to report all of this stuff that keeps people safe. Last thing I'll say is, as a master's level psychotherapist, I have to continue to get education. Like, I didn't just stop at getting my master's degree. I had to take a test, and then I had to get 3,000 hours of supervision in order to get licensed. And I have license in multiple states. Like, I'm licensed and credentialed in multiple states. I have to keep my education up. I have to keep my licensure updated. And I have like an ethical board to report to, but the president doesn't. But anyway, this impacts women, this impacts people of color, this impacts people in rural states, this impacts, a lot of people who are in underserved communities, like the communities that the government forgets about. Like, they show y'all that they really don't give a damn about y'all. All of this being declassified is going to hurt those people the worst. So honestly, I think it's time to start making some real moves, like in your personal life, and when it comes to addressing the people that you voted for. Like, it's time to make some noise towards those people, because all of this is going to directly impact you, whether you have degrees or working towards degrees in this or not. Don't get caught up in this social media stuff. Pay attention, because you really do not want to see a world where there are less of these people in it.
Remember last week y'all was arguing about whether an associate's degree is a real degree? Well, they about to tell you what's professional and what's not. These are the degrees that's going to be listed as non-professional, by the way. Y'all sitting here arguing about an associate's degree and whether it's a real degree or not, and they're coming for women's professions. Oh, and if y'all can't tell by now, they're coming for women. They say y'all going to have babies and be housewives. We're going to see to it. We're going to see to that y'all can't get federal loans. We're going to see to that. Because we're going to deem y'all degrees as non-professional. That's how they're going to do it. They're going to deem y'all degrees as non-professional. Then they're going to take away y'all federal funding. Then they're going to try to get y'all being housewives. Then we gonna have Handmaid's Tale. They see how y'all treat women. With a little push, they see how y'all can treat women, right? Y'all let women, y'all sit here and make fun of women that get punched in the face because y'all don't like them. Y'all, look what y'all did to the DoorDash girl. Look what y'all did to her. Like, y'all see how this world is going? I've been talking about this right pipeline. I've been talking about this old right pipeline. I've been talking about this conservative push. And y'all just falling for it. Y'all arguing about whether an associate's degree is a real degree. And now look. Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, y'all. This pissed me off because this is wild as fuck. The Department of Education is removing graduate nursing programs and a bunch of major healthcare programs from the official professional degree list. People need to pay attention to what this means. They're talking about removing all of these right here that's on this list. But the one that get me the most is the nurse. They act like the nurses don't be the ones that's holding up that damn hospital, pitting that shit on their back. Nurses are literally the backbone of the hospital because they're the ones that's managing codes, they're checking vitals, they're managing the meds, they're tending to the families, they even be doing the labor shit. They want to pretend that don't count as being a professional? Make it make sense, y'all. And the wild part is removing these from the degree list is going to mess up a lot of stuff for them. Their scholarship opportunities going to be messed up, their student loans, their funding, everything, recognition, that's people's careers, that's their future, all being messed up. So if y'all want to know why the healthcare is falling apart, it's because of this reason right here. Because they're cutting from the people who actually keep this shit alive.
So these lists of degrees of education that you see on the side here are no longer going to be considered professional degrees. What does that mean? That means that right now, the Department of Education, the people, decided that if you want to go to school for these degrees, then you're going to have to, you can still get money, but it's not going to be as much money, okay, that you need to get this type of degree. You would have to pretty much come out of pocket, okay? But all of these degrees currently on this side is not going to no longer be considered professional degrees sometime next year. I think they said June or July, somewhere in the summertime. And so, yeah, you would have to figure out what you're going to do. So basically what that tells me is that you don't want any doctors, you don't want any nurses, teachers, because who has the money to afford to pay for that out of pocket? That's the whole point of them getting the loans to pay for those so that they can pay it back later. And then continue to make the world continue to go around as far as in doing those type of things.
This is going to sound so dramatic, but sometimes working in the nursing profession can feel like you are in the most toxic relationship you've ever been in, which is exactly how I feel about this whole Board of Education nonsense that's going on right now. Because it feels like you're with someone who's constantly telling you how essential you are, how important you are, how valuable you are. However, their actions never match up to what they're telling you. Like, let's just make up our mind. Are we really essential and valuable, or are we only essential when we're doing the work that nobody else wants to do?
Guys, you have to understand that healthcare, education, and public safety degrees are some of the most expensive programs in the United States of America. Clinical hours, equipment, hospital placements, all that do cost money. And if your degree is downgraded, you cannot borrow enough to finish school. So this is now the plan of this new administration to quietly shrink entire professions. And you wonder who gets to keep professional status: medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, law, veterinary medicine, theology, clinical psychology. And you ask yourself, why do they want to reclassify all these other professions? So when I started this video, I talked about Project 2025, and you are wondering how these actually connect to Project 2025. For those who don't know, or for those of you who have forgotten about Project 2025, Project 2025 is a blueprint created by conservative think tanks to reshape the federal government, including defunding social programs, we've seen them doing it, weakening public education, cutting federal oversight, shrinking government-funded career fields, redirecting federal money towards religious, private, or elite institutions. So what does that have to do with nursing and social work losing professional status, or why the Project 2025 want to shrink government-funded labor sectors? So healthcare, education, and social services depend heavily on federal funds. If you make these degrees harder to access, then that means fewer students, fewer workers equals smaller public sectors. So why is Project 2025 favors privatizing key industries? You know, if people cannot afford to train as nurses or therapists through public universities, guess who steps in? Private schools, private healthcare systems, religious universities. So that means them privatizing all these industries equals profit for the powerful. You know, these people voted for this new administration, you know, they believed that this government was going to make America great again. And we can clearly see what is happening. And there's still those who think that this is actually the best way. And now, until it starts actually affecting some of these people, is when they're going to come and realize that they effed around, you know, and now they're actually finding out, and it's gonna be hard because with what these new plans that this new administration has, it's not for the better of the common American citizen, but it's for the elites in the United States of America, for millionaires and billionaires in the United States of America. They don't care about the common citizen. No, either you are black, either you are white, they don't care about that. And this is where most people went wrong. When they heard about Project 2025, the new president told them that that has nothing to do with him. It's not part of his plans. But now we can clearly see him bringing it to life each and every single day that he wakes up, each and every single day that he's in that office. Project 2025 already weakened DEI. You also what happened, and now it's trying to weaken and working towards weakening social justice fields. And you wonder which professions are these? These are professions that push for equity: social workers, public health workers, counselors, nurses, especially black nurses. So removing professional status makes this field less respected and less accessible. And Project 2025 pushes for a more traditional elite professional class. That is what they are looking for. If you voted thinking that these policies are not going to affect you, it's time for you to sit back and think twice and think on how you're going to survive these. How do you think America is going to come back from these after these 4 years, even if this administration is not the one that's going to be in office? Do you think it's going to be easy for America to come back to where it was? I don't know what you all think, guys. I don't know what you all were thinking when you went on ahead and voted for this new administration, even after people warning you. You chose not to listen. So, Project 2025 pushes for a more traditional elite professional class. And let's look at the fields they kept: law, medicine, theology, dentistry. And these are high income, more conservative leaning professional tracks. It creates a future where only elite or religious based professions can get federal support. So you're gonna ask who are gonna be the most affected by these, and people are gonna sit there and say that this is going to hit Black Americans the hardest. And you asking why? Because nursing, social work, speech therapy, education, and counseling are some of the top professionals where Black women and Black students thrive. And you've seen what this new administration has been doing. But you also have to understand, just like we have Black women in this field, we have Black students thriving in this field, there is also a very good number of white women and white students thriving in this. And now it's gonna be taken away, just like they did with DEI. And most people didn't care about it because they believed that DEI meant unqualified Black people. And when this administration decided that no, we don't want DEI hires anymore, most Black women lost their job. But there was also a good number of white women that lost their jobs, and they were crying here on social media, not knowing and saying, we didn't know that we were DEI hires. We thought DEI meant hiring unqualified Black people. It's crazy, guys, and it's quite sad. This administration is doing this because they know these fields have been really helping the Black community to take care of their communities. So if they limit access to these degrees, they limit access to upward mobility for Black families, not forgetting also about the common white family in the United States of America. So they're also going to be affected by this. So if you're just sitting there and think that these policies are only going to be affecting Black people, then you're wrong, because it will finally catch up with you. So if you did vote for this administration that is about to tell millions of Americans that their degree is not professional, because that is what's happening right now, you have to understand that this isn't about titles. This is about money. This is about access. This is about reshaping the American workforce. And this is exactly the kind of government restructuring project 2025 has been planning. And this was what Black Americans were actually warning about. I want you all to pay attention, because a lot more is coming, because they are just starting. This is just the beginning. I want you all to tell me what you think about these on the comment section. Is your degree on the list? Let us know down on the comment section. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video so more people understand what is happening. I really do appreciate your love and support. And until the next episode, bye.